All right, it is time now to know what's on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers, and journalists Dario Odufowoko and Ife Onyegbule are here in the studio. Gentlemen of the press, good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with first news. Fear of IPOB, police bar personnel from escorting VIPs in Southeast Rivers. Fear of IPOB, police bar personnel from escorting VIPs in Southeast Rivers. We move quickly to the Daily Trust now. Eid al-Fitr, Buhari urges prayers against criminals, desperate power seekers. Buhari urges prayers against criminals, desperate power seekers. To the Daily Times, Southern senators, reps back governor's demands, others. Southern senators, reps back governor's demands, others. To the Blueprint, Buhari at Eid al-Fitr, with Muslim-Christian solidarity, we can overcome challenges. You find details of the story on the pages of the Blueprint. We move swiftly now to the Leadership newspaper. President Muhammadu Buhari hits back at cessation advocates, says they are desperate for power. He says they are desperate. That's those backing cessation cause are desperate for power. We move to the Daily Sun now. Again, Catholic bishops warn of looming danger, task Buhari on new approach to security challenges. Now, cautions against extrajudicial killings in Southeast, South. To the Punch newspaper, Southern Governors Resolutions, ACF, that's Iowa Consultative Forum, backs open grazing ban, says restructuring to divide Nigeria. Some restructuring advocates want Nigeria disintegrated. Forum houses to get bills soon. Lawmakers seek legal backing for resolutions. All right, we move to the Nation newspaper now. Row over South governors call for dialogue restructuring. Southern senators, Reps Sands, Pandef, others back Asaba declaration. Ndume Yusuf, Labour chief, governors playing to the gallery. All right. To the Vanguard now, Southern Governors 10-point resolution. Regional groups, Southern senators, reps, back governors. Ohaneze, Arewa Consultative Forum, Afeni Ferry Pandef, MBF throw weight behind Southern governors. To the Guardian newspaper now, North kicks as Afeni Ferry others back Southern governors on cattle grazing ban. Miyetti Allah governors move is a call for cessation. Kakran, ban on open grazing negates 1999 constitution. Yakasai Ndume fault governor's position. Akeredolu, why we banned open grazing in South. Southern senators, reps endorse resolution, say action timely. To the Nigerian Tribune, Southern senators, reps back Southern governors. Right, you find details of that story when you look at the pages of the Nigerian Tribune. To this day now, Buhari at Zala, 6 prayers to end banditry, kidnapping, Atiku Lawan Saraki, Tinubu preach righteousness. And finally, on the front page of the Business Day, Nigerians paying price of Buhari's deaf ear to economic advisors. Nigerians paying price of Buhari's deaf ear to economic advisors. You find that story on the pages of the Business Day. All right, let's quickly look at the story that has been generating reactions since the meeting was held, talking about the meeting of the Southern governors. A lot of reactions have trailed their resolutions. There was a 10-point agenda, so to speak, and one of the resolutions that came out of that meeting was the ban on open grazing. And we have been seeing reactions, especially from the North, where you hear Miyetti Allah saying that their reaction rather to that is that the Southern governors are confused and so should face IPOB and leave headers alone. But then let's get your reaction to this move by the Southern governors to ban open grazing, although the Iowa Consultative Forum is also backing them, but we also see some other persons saying, no, you should focus on dealing with IPOB, Dari.
It is not for Miyetti Allah to tell governors, be they Southern governors or Northern governors, how to govern their states. Very important for a governor is the security of lives and properties.
Absolutely.
In fact, most important. So if Miyetti Allah is now saying the call or the move to ban open grazing is not something the governors should do, then it is obvious that Miyetti Allah and or the people behind it don't seem to understand what governance is. And that has been the major problem. Some people feel that they have powers they actually don't have. Some people feel they have privileges they actually don't have. A governor is saying, this will not happen in my state. He has been elected by the entirety of the people of that state. And their sovereignty is vested in him. He has spoken as the people. When the governor talks, he is speaking as the people of that state. And then some people are saying, no, the people say this is what they want. You are saying, no, we don't want this for you. Who are you? We must find a way of living in peace. And one major way of living in peace is to respect the rights of the individuals as well as our collective right. Where there are rights, there are responsibilities.
Absolutely.
Yes, the Constitution says every Nigerian is free to live and trade in any part of the country. The same Constitution makes it a responsibility for you as a Nigerian to respect the laws of the land.
Absolutely.
And one of the laws of the land is that when you elect a governor, he governs his state. It is a law of the land. Now, the moment we finish election and Honorable, if he emerges as the governor, he becomes the man or the person in charge. And we all must subject ourselves to
the policies she makes.
He or she makes. But here we are. Governors now, not one governor. Do you realize that this has been on for a while? This governor banned open grazing. Miyetti Allah kicks. This other governor bans grazing in the state. Fulani herders kick. This other governor bans open grazing. Some Northern Youth Forum. We must understand that if we don't respect ourselves, there is no way we will live together. The governors met. They took a decision. Among these governors, there are lawyers. There are sons
who understand the Constitution.
So you will not tell me they have not studied the Constitution. So it will take a cattle rearer to explain what is the Constitution for a senior advocate of Nigeria. Why are we doing this in this country? It will take a cattle rearer to tell a senior advocate of Nigeria that you don't understand what the 1999 Constitution is saying.
Right.
These are drums of war. And we must avoid it. They are drums of war. When you come to my house and you tell me, I will not allow you to live the way you want to live, you are challenging me. And nobody likes to be challenged in his own house. Right. If you challenge a man in his house, it means you are challenging him in the presence of his wife and his children. Even if he is a coward, he will put up a fight. Right. He must put up a fight.
Let's get to Honorable Ify, as you called her. Let's get her reaction to this now, because another reaction that came from Professor Usman Yusuf, the former executive secretary of NHIS, is that the governors then have to provide lands for the herders to graze.
I want to take it from the part where Dari talked about, people having the right to govern their states the way they want.
Right.
And as he was talking, I was thinking about it. Recently, I went to Kano and I had to talk with some people. The hotel where I lodged, you found out that there was you couldn't get to buy alcohol there, even if you wanted to drink something that had a tinge of alcohol in it. You didn't have the governors in the southwest saying, leave the Christians in the north.
Oh.
You can decide not to drink it, but allow them do what they want to do. It just doesn't make a sense. You cannot say they should not talk about what it is that's going on. They should just focus on IPOB and other issues happening here in the Southwest. And this is one of the reasons I want to say we need to be grateful to the governors that they've decided to come together now to discuss issues, happening in the region. And I'm wondering who's giving them the opportunity to come out to talk. I remember a station was actually sanctioned because they interviewed a member of IPOB. Now, Mark Ban is here talking, Miyetti Allah is there talking, and they're giving them audience, and they're even making front pages of the papers. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But back to what it is that we're talking about. I think it is good we're having this conversation now. Sit on the table, decide what it's going to be. Someone says it's secession, I do not believe. But we need to see where it goes.
And the fact that they are also saying that, because it's coming from someone in that region in the north, saying that the state governors perhaps would then need to provide lands for these people to graze.
See, I blame the government, especially the federal government, for all this. So there are some things the government should not get involved in. Cattle rearing is private business. I don't think we have national cattle colony or Nigerian cattle farm.
But the government came up with the
moment we
grazing.
start dabbling into things we shouldn't dabble into, we give people the feelings that their business is government's business. You want to sell cow, I want to eat cow. Those are private businesses. If you want to sell cow and decide not to eat cow, will the government force me to eat cow? The answer is no. So why is government getting so? Government is not only investing heavily in this cattle business. Government is getting too involved policy-wise. That is why somebody can now wake up and say you have to give them land. Why? Okay, I do some fish farming. I do fish farming. So I should go and ask someone to give me land or pond. There are people who rear poultry. But would they ask the governor to give them land or cage?
Or the people who do piggery.
Or people who do piggery. Who go to Kano and said the government should give them land. These are issues that we should look at dispassionately, without sentiment. If you want to do cattle rearing and you must do it in Lagos or in Ogun, nobody will stop you. Buy land. Buy land. Right. Do your cattle rearing. It is when people now say, no, you cannot buy land. That is when there are issues.
Right.
There are lands that you can buy and fence. I have friends who do farming in Kebbi. They left Lagos here to go and do rice farming in Kebbi. They acquired lands. Some are lease, some are outright buying. They didn't go to ask the state government, we have arrived to do rice farming and you must give us land. Why are we making it look as if cattle rearing is a national assignment?
And Veronica, we also need to think about the fact that people need to understand now why the government is having some kind of coloration, the way people are looking at government.
Right.
Why do we have to keep talking about cattle rearing all of the time? Of all the issues that we have bedeviling this country, every day we're talking about herders,
but we
farmers
see
clashes.
the impact it has had when when we talk about the farmers herders clashes.
Okay, why would you come to my land and come to clash with me on my own land for crying out loud? If you want to buy the land and then lease it to you. I leave it for you, but you must also use it according to what it is that I tell you you're going to use the land for.
If you let me come in there. If there had been, for years you've been hearing of farmers herders clash. If we have done the right thing by punishing the offenders without looking at economic or cultural or any other form of consideration, we won't be where we are today. A farmer plants his corn, economic. A herder comes, move his cattle on the farm and destroy it, economic sabotage. Then we treat it as what it is. We won't be here. But because we see it as clash. What is clash in that I plant my corn and I came to destroy it? It's not a clash. I didn't clash with you. Or is it the corn that clashed with the cow? The cow corn is standing where it was planted. The cow moved. The cow has the ability, the cow and the cow owners, to avert destroying the corn. So the corn is immovable. It cannot move on its own.
I think that government...
The cow can move. So it's an intentional thing that you reared or moved your cow upon my farm and you destroyed it, and then we start calling both parties to come and sit down. That was where we got it wrong.
Well, government needs to wake up, if you ask
That was where we got it wrong.
This is where my next question is headed. When state governments or southern governors are saying, okay, we need to adopt this, how do we strengthen it to make it effective? Because we have seen some of the states actually outrightly banning this, like in Ondo State. What lessons can they learn from the state?
That's the model governor for me, who came out to say, look, we do not want this. We don't want it. We don't want it. Because even the Holy Book says to you that if you know this is a hand that's going to cause you to sin, what you do? You chop it off. If this is what's going to make you keep killing people, it doesn't even have to be just my people. It could be people who have moved. There are Igbos who have moved, who live in Ondo State. They don't know any other place. What if they fall victim and they get killed? And the man says, look, instead of us having this kind of problems and all of that, take your grazing somewhere else. I don't have land for you to do grazing. And I'm hoping that all the other governors can follow suit so that you begin to stamp your authority. Have you seen how some people come even on social media and make it look like you're a second-class citizen and that they are the ones who are born to rule? No, it doesn't have to work like that. If I'm in my place where it is that I am and I say this is how we want to be governed, I was elected, for crying out loud. As a governor, you're elected. And your job is to protect lives and property. So if you're not able to do that, well, I think the people will just vote you out the next time you want to run for another term of office. But then your job is to see that they are safe and their properties are safe. Who wakes up in the morning and the whole community is butchered, slaughtered, and all of that? It just doesn't make any sense. So if the governors have now come together to say, Mr. President, this is what we have on the table. We don't want this. I think it will be wise for them to look at it and say, let's keep our business. If I want to eat cow or whatever, I can order for it and you bring it to me. What if I'm a pig farmer? Would you give me a land in Kanu to rear my pigs in the very first place? Or in Sokoto, for instance. So when you do something, you need to cut yourself and understand that the way you feel is exactly how someone else will feel.
Absolutely.
Happens to them.
Domestication, I want you to touch on that. All right.
Domesticating
what they have come up with.
See, it is simple. I was going to talk on that. My people, they have a saying. I'll say it in Yoruba, and I'll interpret it.
All right.
That it is when snakes refuse to move together that they are picked and killed one by one. When you see a viper coming and right behind it is a cobra and then a python is third in line and you have another, nobody will tell you to move or to run. The governors have decided to do the right thing. We talk about Akeredolu and his move in Ondo State. Don't forget that when he said that, even the federal government only came short of saying you can't do that. They came out immediately with a release that contradicted what he was saying. And then the man in Oyo also tried. He was quickly cautioned. Now let's see if the federal government or any other person or body in authority will oppose a decision taken by the entirety of governors in the South.
They have the backing of the National Assembly.
The National Assembly came out to speak now. Reps, senators, ACF, Afenifere, Pandef, name it, are saying this is the way to go. Right. Beautiful. It is now left for these governors to go back to their various states. Don't be vindictive about it. I won't support any move that is have the slightest idea of vengeance. But put down the format.
All right.
We will give you time to move your cattle out of our state. We will give you policies and programs of how you can even acquire lands. Fence it. This is how it must be fenced. Okay. These are the rules that will guide your businesses here. Then farmers too. Once there is a cattle colony legally and duly purchased around you, these are the precautions you also need to make. When they do that and they take it home to the people, I believe this is the solution to provided Mark Ban
we have to
and
leave it here now.
Others. See reason and agree with this.
We have to leave it here now. Journalist Dario Dufowokon, Ifi Onyegbule, thank you so much for your time on the newspaper review.